Welcome to lesson number 1 of the What is Ubuntu series of lectures that seeks to provide a comprehensive answer to this question about Ubuntu that is respected by people from all over the world, from all walks of life. The course is also an honoring and a celebration of Ubuntu and the spirit of Africa. We believe that Ubuntu is our greatest gift to ourselves and the world. Since Ubuntu fundamentally deals with what it means to be human, we can say that Ubuntu is inherent in all of us. Ubuntu that is marked by connection, family and community, and deep respect for our fellow human beings and Mother Nature is passed down from one generation to the next, and here in Africa through unique ways of living as well as through instruction. Before we get into what Ubuntu is and how it works, here in lesson number 1, we want to invite you to first become aware of the urgent call for Ubuntu that is out there in society. When we look at and listen to the call for Ubuntu, we notice that there are two voices. What we are hearing on the one hand is the voice of the many challenges that we are facing in the world, the voice of our disconnection and despair, and on the other hand, the voice of the hope and the potential of Ubuntu. So what we are seeing and hearing on the one hand is the call for Ubuntu from our dysfunctional world that has been caused by many years of separation thinking that we see manifest through the many examples of the ills of our society. And on the other hand, there is the call of the many that are aware of our underlying unity. These are the voices of people that have come to know the power and the potential of Ubuntu as a pathway to the restoration of our broken connections and an answer to the challenges that we share. This universal worldview, as it is uniquely expressed and lived in Africa, is widely respected, studied, and applied throughout the world. Here are some slides quoting what a few leaders of society have said about Ubuntu. To keep the lecture short, I will only read the first 3, but please feel free to read and to use any of the other great quotations. The late Archbishop Desmond Tutu said, "Ubuntu is respected and praised the world over by people from all walks of life. This respect for Ubuntu speaks to the highest praise an African would give someone in recognition of his or her Ubuntu when they say, 'Hey, so-and-so has Ubuntu.'" Dr. Mampela Rampeli said, "We are here to invite you all to rediscover and live the values that made us a great nation. We are here to make sure that Ubuntu becomes again a way of life and ensure that every South African feels valued because they are human. We are here to ensure that being human must again become this most important status." And then the late Nelson Mandela said, "It was at the level of what we once referred to as the RDP of the soul that the nation seemed to have crucially fallen behind on since the attainment of democracy. The values of human solidarity that once drove our quest for a humane society seems to have been replaced or are threatened by crass materialism and pursuit of social goals of instant gratifications. One of the challenges facing the country was to instill in the consciousness of the people a sense of solidarity, of being in the world for one another." Ubuntu author and thought leader Barbara Nussbaum. The late Ubuntu author and thought leader Dr. John Bengu. Pope John Paul II. When it comes to the transferring of Ubuntu, we have seen some challenges for Ubuntu over many years. In Africa, development and progress have been greatly challenged by colonization. When it comes to industrialization, it is so that even though it has contributed greatly to our lives in general, it has also impacted us negatively. This is also true for globalization. There are many great benefits of being part of the greater world, but globalization also poses a lot of challenges and threats for people on the smaller group and individual levels. We can see that all of this have contributed to the loss of the connection that we used to have as close-knit communities living in and through our natural environment. Hugh Masekela, the late popular South African musician, once said, "You need to go within before you go global." So whilst the information and technology age that we are living in holds many benefits for humanity, we also need to be aware of the threats and the challenges that it holds for us. We need to navigate it wisely for it to play a real positive role in helping us to create the world of peace and prosperity that is desired by all. Maybe we must look at this time that we are living in as a window of opportunity to realize more than ever before, perhaps, the underlying bond that exists between us as diverse human beings and the greater cosmos. To see that our dysfunctional relationships have a lot to do with how we see one another and the world. And to realize that although we may have different religions, different cultures, different colors of skin, and different languages, that we all belong to one human race. Maybe this time that we are living in makes it possible for us to really honor, appreciate, and celebrate our humanity, our African wisdom, and our Ubuntu. Nothing confirms the richness and the depth of African wisdom more than our African proverbs. The following African proverbs speak beautifully to the call for Ubuntu. Don't underestimate the wisdom of the ancestors. Wisdom is like fire. People take it from others. It is not what you call me, but what I answer to. In closing this lesson, you are invited to listen to the call for Ubuntu. Through the absence thereof, the many challenges that we are facing in the world and in society, as well as through the many voices reminding us of our African dream, our common dream, the wonder of Ubuntu, our underlying unity, and our highest potential. And we invite you to imagine that you are the one that Archbishop Desmond Tutu speaks about. Thank you for watching.